Hi, welcome to Snoriezzz, a children's bedtime podcast hosted by your Snory godmothers. I'm Marcia Gay Harden, and I love sleep.
And I'm Natalie Peyton. I love sleep too. Thanks for joining us.
Time to settle in, snuggle up, put your head on the pillow, and get ready for your Snoriezzz bedtime ritual. First, we start with mindful talk.
Your Snory godmothers want you to know how amazing and fantastic you are, but that means you have to know how special you are too. So we want to hear you say it.
Because when we talk to ourselves in a positive way, especially right before we go to bed, good things happen in our lives, and that makes us feel happy. I bet you did something you can be proud of today, so let's think about it together.
Did you have a fun morning? How about a good day? We know that every day you have done at least one cool thing, so it's important to focus on the good stuff. Maybe you used your manners, or flew a kite, or maybe you learned to tie your shoe. Even if you didn't, what's important is that you probably tried, and the good news is you can always try again tomorrow.
It's good to say nice words to ourselves. These are called affirmations, so let's try it.
Repeat after your Snory godmother, Marcia. Say it quietly, or say it in your mind. But don't just say it, kiddos. Really feel it and experience the energy of the words.
I'm strong.
That's it. You are strong.
I can do things.
You said it. Good.
I'm enough.
You sure are. Great work.
I'm a good sleeper.
And that's cool because here's your Snory science tip. Sleeping helps your mind grow smarter and your body grow stronger.
I'm a good helper.
Kiddos, being a good helper is important, as you will hear in today's Snory, Little Bo Peep. The Snory is right around the corner, and we want you to concentrate and ignite your imaginations. And that means you have to stop wiggling around. So, cozy up wherever you are, and let's start by focusing on our senses. This is called grounding with your surroundings. Let's start with what you can see. Stay in your bed. Do you see your sheets? Your cuddly friends? Your pajamas? How about your bed? What do you feel? Your head on the pillow? The blankets over your body? The pajamas on your skin? What do you hear? A fan or a noise machine? Your Snory godmother's voice? What do you smell? Your cuddly friend? Super. Now that you're grounded, your imagination is turned on, and it's time to enjoy the Snory.
Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and doesn't know where to find them. Leave them alone and they'll come home, wagging their tails behind them. That's the Mother Goose nursery rhyme that you may know. But did you know that there's a short story about Little Bo Peep? It was written by a man named Joseph Martin Kronheim, and he lived in Germany, and he also drew some beautiful pictures. Here's the short story of Little Bo Peep. Once upon a time, there was a very nice little girl called Little Bo Peep. She was a super hard worker, and she always helped her mom and dad. Her cheeks were rosy like a flower, and her voice sounded like a sweet little bell. Little Bo Peep helped her mom and dad with a lot of chores, but her very hardest job was to get up so early every morning, get dressed all by herself, and then go out into the pasture with the sheep so that they could eat the green grass and wander on the hills. She stayed with the sheep all day long, and she took care of them and then brought them home before dinner. One summer evening, before the sun was setting, little Bo Peep felt so exhausted because she'd been up all day working. She thought, I'll just take a little nap. So she sat down near the river where the ground was covered with daisies. Being very tired, she soon fell fast asleep. The main leader of Bo Peep's flock of sheep was a very naughty sheep called the Bellwether. Oh, he was very silly and mischievous, and he liked to play games and dance around and get the other sheep to do funny things. All the sheep had little bells on their necks, but the Bellwether's bell was the very biggest and sounded the deepest, and all the other sheep liked to follow that sound. Oh, Mr. Bellwether was very wild, and he liked to wander far away into the woods, where, of course, the rest of the sheep would follow him. So when the Bellwether saw that little Bo Peep was asleep, he thought, "Oh, now I'm going to have some fun." So he stood up on his hind legs. Wait, sheep walk around on 4 legs, but nope, the Bellwether stood up on 2 legs. And then he bowed to his shadow. And then he started spinning around and around and around and dancing and shaking his head, and his bell was ringing and ringing and ringing. But little Bo Peep didn't wake up. Very soon, the rest of the flock of sheep began to dance and spin around too. Oh, it looked like so much fun. And suddenly, when they were all in the middle of dancing around, Mr. Bellwether hopped up and he ran off into the woods, and all the sheep had so much fun with him that they ran off after him, hopping over the fence, and they disappeared behind the trees. Little Bo Peep just kept sleeping. The sheep ran into the woods until they got tired, and then, oh my goodness, they realized that they were all lost. Oh, that foolish Bellwether, their leader, just shook his head slowly and rang his bell, which seemed to say quite clearly, "You are lost, you are lost." When little Bo Peep woke up, she found all of her sheep were gone. "Oh no," she thought, "I'll get in trouble. And what if my sheep get hurt all by themselves out there in the woods? Oh no, I'll have to go find them." So she got up and followed them, walking deep into the woods. She walked and she walked, and it was starting to get dark, and finally she met a farmer with a hoe and a rake in his hands. "Excuse me, sir, have you seen my sheep?"
He laughed. "You're a silly girl if you've lost your sheep. I haven't seen them."
"Thank you, sir." She walked on, and soon she came to another man in a cart with a horse. Excuse me, have you seen my sheep?" This old man just said,
"Ah! Get out of my way!"
Well, little Bo Peep knew that he was being rude, so she didn't even say thank you. She just turned around and walked away. No need to be nice to rude people, she said to herself. She walked on and was getting tired and scared because it was almost dark. At last she came to a pile of rocks, and sitting on top of it was a big black bird, an old raven. Oh, he looked so wise that little Bo Peep asked him whether he'd seen a flock of sheep, but he only cried, "Caw, caw, caw." So Bo Peep ran on again across the fields. She wandered on till nightfall, and being faint with hunger, she was very glad to see a light just before her, shining from a cottage window. Oh, good. I'm so hungry, she thought. But when she knocked on the door, a cross-looking old woman came out and dragged her into the cottage. This old woman made her sit by the side of the old woman's son. He was a very mean little boy with dirty hair. The old woman told Bo Peep that she wanted her to marry her son. But Bo Peep did not like him at all, so she waited until they were asleep, and being a very smart girl, she ran away. But she didn't know where to go once she was in the woods, and so she sat down on a rock and cried because she was lost. Then she heard to-wit, to-woo in the tree above her. It was a great owl, which began flapping its wings with joy. The owl flew away a little bit and then came back to get her and flapped its wings some more. Bo Peep was frightened at first, but as the owl seemed very kind, she followed it. It took her to a cottage, another cottage, a sweet, bright cottage where there was plenty to eat and drink, and then to Bo Peep's great surprise, the owl began to speak, and it told her this story. "Know, dear maiden," said the owl, "that I am the daughter of a king. Once I was a lovely princess, but that same cross old lady you saw in the other cottage, well, she turned me into an owl because I wouldn't marry her son. But I've heard the fairies say that one day a sweet girl will come into this woods to find her lost sheep, and that little girl can help me turn back into a princess. You are that pretty maid. Will you help me? And I will take you to a spot where you will find your sheep." "Oh, yes," said Bo Peep. "Okay," said the owl, "but this is what you have to do. When I take you to your sheep, you will see that they don't have their tails. The queen of the fairies and the elves will be playing with the sheep and waving their tails around." "But how can they take their tails? Doesn't it hurt?" asked little Bo Peep. "Oh, no, my dear. They are magic fairies. Don't worry. In the morning, all the sheep will have their tails again, except for the naughty bellwether. You will find his tail hidden in the hollow of a tree, and you must then take it and bring it to me and wave his tail 3 times over my head, and I shall become a princess again." The owl flew over Bo Peep's head and said, "Come on," and led Bo Peep into the woods. And then she said, "Sleep, my little maiden. I will watch you and keep you safe." How long Bo Peep was asleep she couldn't tell, but the charmed spot was suddenly shimmering and glowing with golden light, and Bo Peep saw the Queen of Fairies seated on a riverbank. She then saw all of her sheep come trooping back into the place, and on every sheep's back there was an elf who held in his hand a sheep's tail. The elves were laughing and riding on the backs of the sheep and having great fun with them. Finally, this silly sport ceased, and each elf put the tail back on his sheep. But they didn't give the bellwether his tail back. The leader of the elves hid it in a tree. Bo Peep saw the owl flapping its wings as if to remind her of her promise, so Bo Peep went to the tree and felt around and found the tail. She grabbed it and took the tail back to the owl, and Bo Peep waved it 3 times over the owl's head, just like she had been told. And suddenly, the owl disappeared, and there appeared before Bo Peep the most charming princess that ever was seen. Her long black hair had a crown made of leaves, and her beautiful brown eyes shimmered. The princess said, "Thank you. Oh, thank you, Bo Peep. You have broken the evil spell. How can I reward you?" "Oh, well, you don't have to reward me," said Bo Peep. "You helped me get my sheep back. I made a big mistake, but I asked for help, and now it's okay. I'll be more responsible next time because it's important to be a good helper." But the princess was so happy to be herself again that she gave Bo Peep a reward anyway. She gave Bo Peep a beautiful little cottage, and Bo Peep lived there with her adults, and Bo Peep's sheep never ran away from her again. The end.
Now it's time to calm your body down. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Feel your body on the bed. Let your bed give you a big hug. And when I name them, focus on each of your body parts and relax them. Let's start with the tippy top. Relax the top of your head. Think about your forehead and relax it. Raise your eyebrows and lower your eyebrows. Relax your eyeballs. Close and open your eyes. Relax your nose. Wrinkle your nose. Relax your cheeks. Release your jaw. Open your mouth super wide and gently close your mouth. Think about your ears. Relax them. And your mouth, your chin, your neck. Relax your shoulders. Let them melt into the bed. Now your arms, your hands. Now squeeze your hands and release them. Relax your chest, your tummy. Take a deep breath in. Fill your lungs and belly with fresh oxygen, and then release it. We are traveling through our body, relaxing each part. Now, focus on your hips. Wiggle into your bed. Think about the top of your legs, which are called the thighs, and relax them. Now your knees, the bottom of your legs, called the calves, your ankles, encircle your ankles. Relax your feet and wiggle each of your toes. Squeeze your toes into your feet and release them. Take another deep breath in and breathe in more air and a little more and release it. Think about how your body feels. Calm your body down. And now, your whole body is relaxed.
Sweet dreams. Sleep tight and know that everything's going to be all right.
you.